We're a private, self-endowed foundation, and our mission is to fund health and wellness initiatives within San Diego and Imperial counties. So we fund initiatives like guaranteed basic income, workforce development, homelessness issues, which is many more than just being, just the housing, but also food security issues. And the goal is to have some sort of systemic long-term impact on some of these bigger chronic issues that we face today. I've been with Alliance for 7 years. I'm the director of operations, and I feel like my job is to make sure that my staff has what they need to do their job. So I'm sort of the wizard behind the curtain. We shifted pretty much immediately when BACS took over with us about 6 years ago. We shifted from what I would say, antiquated, very paper-heavy system doing business where we had filing cabinets, we had in the IT closet there used to be a actual server. And when BACS took over for us, they were very helpful and actually critical in developing a digital platform for us. So we were remote before it was cool, I guess, if you're going by a country song. So when COVID happened, we were already digital. And what I mean by that is we have all of our systems are up in the cloud, so everything is completely virtual. And we also have whiteboard desks, so you can't see it now, but I have a whiteboard desk. So when I'm taking notes in meetings, if I'm not typing them digitally onto a Word document, I'm handwriting them quickly with a marker on my desktop. And BACS they helped us design that system, which was critical for just the success of the business and being able to be forward thinking. And also it allowed us to be able to pivot quickly within the COVID constraints of going to virtual. And now we're in what's considered a hybrid environment. So without their help and their planning and their strategic plan for us on how to do that, we would have struggled. The history of how we got to BACS it's a bit traumatic for me because I had taken over, I inherited a system that was managed by a different service provider at the time. And to say that the service was poor is rounding up greatly. There were lots of problems with the system. There were lots of problems with the design of the system. There were just tons of problems with support for that reason. And so we were at a point in our development with reference to IT that I feel like we just couldn't really function. I was dealing with so many issues on a regular basis and not having the proper support in place. So we could have hired a broom to take over, and that broom would have been an upgrade from where we were. Is kind of how I station the history with getting connected. And BACS they were recommended from one of my staff who knew a person who was working or connected to BACS. And I made a call, and we had people from the organization come and just sit with me in short time frames. And what they did was they spent time getting to know who Alliance is and why we're here and what we do. Through that process, it was incredibly, I would say, gentle, but very structured and very thoughtful and strategic. So having that time to get to know us and us to get to know them was critical in the success of having this long-term partnership. I get calls every week for people that want to sell me something new within the IT world. And I politely listen, but I just tell them I have the best company for support. I wouldn't think of going anywhere else. How we got here was basically kind of a traumatic experience of just having no support. And then basically we could have hired any vendor in the world and we would have been better, I think. And what we got is so much more because now we have a long-term partner that has provided just a great platform for me to be able to support easily for my staff. And we also use BACS to support guests coming into our suite to use our facility and our equipment. And we couldn't do that if we hadn't had such a strategic, thoughtful plan put in place and supported by BACS. This team is so brilliant with that particular question of how they keep us prepared for the future and how they keep us ahead. I have a couple of things that come to mind. First of all, I do a quarterly meeting with a service manager for our account. So that means once every 90 days, I'm physically talking to a person at BACS who's reporting back to me on statistical information. They're reporting back to me on projects that we've started and where we are with them. And they're always asking me, so what's next? What are you anticipating? Where are you going? So I think that for sure, one way, they're not just a vendor that comes in and says, hey, we're going to do all these things for you. They get you set up and then they just invoice you every month. That's not BACS. BACS says, hey, we'd love to come in and help you and support you achieve what you need to do. And here's how we'd like to do it. And part of that is to do regular quarterly touch base. And we don't miss them. I mean, I put them on my calendar and I do not try and move them if I can, because that's a really important piece. And it's by having those regular touch base, there's a relationship there and there's an accountability there. And it also helps us prepare. I don't feel like with BACS I'm ever trying to catch up. I feel like I'm always planning for what's coming next. And that's one way. The other way is they have the best service team in the world. I mean, I don't say that lightly. I used to run customer service years and years and years ago. It's a hard business to be in. I actually used to support software for car and truck dealerships. And I loved that work. I was really good at it, I think. And because I was good at it, I have really high standards for what I think good customer service is. BACS is consistently 5-star. I can't remember really anything that I've ever complained about with them. And if I would have, I just anticipate that they would have straightened it out immediately. So, I think it's the combination of the two things, regularly, quarterly, but also consistently thorough and professional service whenever you need it.